SuperCoach video with me, JD. You're joining me for the round 20 review. And as you can hear, my voice is not in the best shape at the moment. I wish I had a very exciting story for you about going out on the weekend and doing great stuff, but unfortunately just picked up something from my kids, like a week ago, and it's carried through. So I'm going to try and get through this video the best we can. Try and not stop too much for water breaks, but I will do a little bit of that and get in and out pretty quickly with the team and where it's at. As you can see, scored just over the 2,600 points, which dropped me around 50 ranks, which is pretty annoying. We'd been staying steady for the last few years, so to give up ground is obviously annoying, but there were two real bad things happened to me this week. One was the vice captain captaincy. Just did not get a good read on it this week. There's so many great options, and I failed to pick any of them. And then secondly was Caleb Daniel, who, could have been anyone else really. Would have taken 100 points off pretty much anyone. But yeah, I could have got 30 to 40 points off Bont. 60 if it's English, 70 off Daniel. That's plus 130 points. And it would have made for a pretty good week, but alas. I think the good news is that everyone else performed, and I didn't cop any injuries, which is, of course, really pleasing at this point in the year, given that, some of my bench covers playing but not firing by any means. Really, their only other disappointing scores, well, actually, it's funny, right? Dacos is one of my worst scorers this week outside of Daniel. Him and Taranto have been guns all year. That's, interesting. Doherty was good, but not great. And then Neil was pretty disappointing in that game, getting tagged out by Miller. And then, almost everyone else is just praise. And there's not a lot to say, really, apart from mostly everyone was good. Laird returned from that AC joint or swollen shoulder, and was fine, which was great to see. Petrarca continues to do really well, even though he's playing forward of the ball a lot, just in great form at the moment. Day had another really good game as well. So this one was interesting. Obviously, Sicily owners, he got tagged by Cooper Sharman, so I'm still not worried about Sicily by any means. He's got a great run for the rest of the year. I from memory, some of the other games he's still got coming up that he's less likely to get tagged in as well. So yeah, I don't see Pies tagging him. I don't see the Dogs tagging him. I don't see the D's tagging him. And maybe Freo tags him. So he's got nice matchups 3 of the last 4 and probably only one more potential tag coming. In that game as well, Sinclair actually got tagged and successfully, but they dropped that after the first quarter, which is good because they then racked it up from that point. But yeah, Day putting points on Sicily this week was definitely a huge help, and I know there'd be many frustrated Sicily owners. In the midfield, lots of big scores here, but it's funny because 2 of those are obviously forwards. Good to see Butters doing well, that the injury cloud isn't hurting him. Bont had his worst score in I don't know how long, and I captained that. When was his... It is his lowest score since round 3. So, yeah, probably one that I guess you could have seen coming just because that ground is not necessarily great. And GWS put time in him. Don't know why I didn't go English, but anyway. Yeah, Neil tagged. There wasn't LDU, I think, is the one that we're missing that has really been going well, and he's going to be in conversation for whether it's someone that we start next year. This is 4 rounds of basically 125 plus now. And he's looked really good despite North being poor, losing the West Coast, obviously not great. I think the only problem is his average is already up to 113. So he's not going to be cheap at all next year. Yeah, don't know what we do there because he's had injury concerns as well, but he should also still be in a spot where he can improve his scoring output going forward. Yeah, Libba, I guess, the other dog that I don't have that he's doing really well. I know some people put the captain on him, which was great. In the rucks, Gorn was huge. Oh my God. Yeah, if you've got Gorn over Marshall, you're absolutely laughing at the moment. Last 3 rounds, he's put 2 170s up. 215, 120, 174, 3-round average of 169, which will be easily the highest in the game at the moment. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And he's got North this week, who should be all right to score on, even though it's probably the dual matchup in Cherry and Goldie. I think it'd be all right to score up there. So if you're a Gordon owner, you're crushing it. Yeah, the rest of the forwards went well apart from Daniel. He's so bad. It's like, if I had Sheasel, that's another 120, 130. Oh, just can't believe I traded him in. It was like 2 trades left for the year, and it's when I go and do the real clanger move. Just, yeah, don't know what I was thinking. And it's probably too early in the year to like trade him back. Like there's still 4 rounds to go, so I probably should hold a trade for another injury. So I kind of just have to ride it out and see what happens. I guess I can loop him this week, so we'll set it up so he's on the bench, Buller on field, and if he scores poorly, maybe Fletcher has a good game. Although he got subbed out, I don't think it was injury, but I didn't check on that. Cameron's been really good the last 2 weeks. Super unfortunate to anyone that traded him out. Goulden's been amazing, continues to be great. I think what's really interesting is a lot of these forwards like Cogs, Butters, Dunkley, Goulden, Rosie, Taranto, Cameron, none of these will be forwards next year. So who we actually have as a forward option and what that looks like will be interesting and make the game a little bit more fun, I think, while being able to pick, Goulden, Dunkley, Taranto, Rosie, Butters, Cogs, those 6 from round 1 made it a lot easier to do forwards, which is great compared to some of the prior years. Probably did make it a little bit boring at points. It was just too easy. And we'll see a little bit of this in defense as well, like Dawson, probably Day, maybe Sinclair. Like a lot of these won't be defenders anymore. Probably not Doc either, but I think Dacos will get as a starting pick. It'll be interesting to figure out if Gorn's going to be a starting option next year. Okay, but yeah, there's not really much to discuss. Not much in terms of like forced trades or anything like that. So vice captain's really all there is left to discuss, and then I'll go back to resting this poor voice. So the obvious, I think, matchup is Essendon to West Coast. There's some threat of a Xavier O'Neill tag, and it looked like they did give LDU some attention in the second half after he absolutely blitzed them in the first part of that game. There's probably also a decent chance that now West Coast is back on the road, and after coming off the high of a win, that they put in a pretty poor game. So I think there's a good chance that the Dons do numbers on them. So if you've got Merritt or Parrish, I think they are both good options this week. And then really it comes down to, so what's the vice captain or captain you want to put around that? Now, Dacos into the Hawks is one that would look good, but obviously they've been using Finn McGuinness to take again, and he was the one that got him in the preseason, so I'd probably be staying away from Dacos. English is the one I've got the vice captaincy on at the moment. He has not gone below 130 in about 6 weeks at the moment. He went 127 in round 15, and that's his lowest score in about 6 weeks. 3-round average of 156, 5-round average of 145. I think English probably has to be in the trade plans, even though Nankervis will be coming back this week. English still put up a 145, I want to say, on him earlier in the year. Yep. So, yeah, I think that's someone that you can definitely consider. I would have been at the G earlier in the year, I'm guessing, so I don't know if it changes it. It's at Marvel now, but yeah, English in his form, put up a 145 against him earlier. I think you could do that into C Merritt. Otherwise, you could vice captain Merritt, and then the captaincy. This like Petrarca game, I think, is one that you could potentially target. North have been leaking points to mids. We saw that on the weekend with Crouch, Steele, Sinclair, all putting up reasonable numbers. Petrarca did a 167 on them earlier in the year, and if you want to get a glimpse at Merritt first, which I think might be the case, then maybe I do Merritt into Petrarca. It does feel a little bit risky with Petrarca playing more of that half forward role, but he still hasn't dropped below 110 since the buys, so one that you could look at there. Probably wouldn't be touching anyone in this St Kilda Carlton matchup, and then in this last one here, Freo Brisbane, I'm pretty worried about Neil now with him showing he's vulnerable to tags. I think teams could go back to well on that one. So Dunkley is a captaincy option. I think he is in reasonable enough form that you could look there. Otherwise, I mean, like Goulden's been good, but I don't think this GWS matchup is the best one to target, to be honest. He's got good history against them, but yeah, just not one that I'd probably target. And there's really not too much else that I like in terms of these matchups. Maybe this Adelaide Gold Coast one, maybe like Laird might be all right for that. What's his history against them? It's okay, but it's not great. It's at Adelaide Oval. You could go Dawson maybe in that matchup too. But yeah, I think for me, it's probably Merritt, Petrarca, English, Dunkley are the four that I'm most heavily considering at the moment. Hope you're going well. If for whatever reason you do have a forced trade and want to discuss those, hit me up below. Otherwise, let me know who is going to be your lock for your starting team next year, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.